Hey folks, Phil Gallagher here for Daily D&T 100. When I started this out, I didn't think we'd be going this long, but I'm super happy about that, and it shows great promise for the future. This week of Daily D&T was supported in part by my good friends over at Cardboard Live. I don't have anyone set up to support next week of Daily D&T. Maybe it's you. If so, check out the description below the video. Once again, we have an amazing opening hand. I say that because it has Ether Vial, and this card is disgustingly good. Our hand is incredibly slow and very bad if this vial doesn't resolve, though. So, like, let's throw that out there now. Be totally honest about it. Force, pitching force. Not great for the home team. Yeah, if we got the vial up to 3 this game and just, like, Bugler into all the derpy things, it was going to be real fun for me. Now, we're not in a great position. Our opponent also might be playing something like Sneak and Show or something like that, given this start. And if that's the case, we don't have any sort of disruption right now. Oh no, okay, it's going to be something like Miracles, so we will have time. That's good. F. Okay, that's bad. Stoneblade is going to be tricky for us. Oh, thank God they got Batter's Goal and not Jitte. In terms of mana efficiency, it's correct to do this, but if they already have the Jitte in hand, this line's way worse. I see so many people go for Batterskull first against D&T, which I don't really get. Like, the Jitte stabilizes your life total almost as well as Batterskull, and also just, like, wins the game basically on the spot. Alright, if they have Jitte, this line's terrible, but the upside is just too high for me to not take this. 2 of their Force of Wills are already gone. This isn't going to get hit by any soft disruption, and we get to draw a card out of it. But if they do have the Jitte, life's real bad. No, this doesn't mean that they don't have Jitte yet. Alright, great, great. Alright, that's a little obnoxious. That plus Batterskull is a long-term problem. How am I playing this turn? Thalia will be the first thing I do. That's unquestionable. And then I think it's going to be Militia Bugler to go and try and find, like, my own sort of Fire and Ice. We're passing up on some draws for the sake of mana efficiency. Nice. So the best worlds for me are the worlds where my opponent continues to miss land drops. They just go like, land, put in Jitte, equip Jitte, I lose the game. That sort of thing is just absolutely devastating for me. But I can totally beat them just going in, attacking with their current board forever. I will trade for the Batterskull body if I am given the opportunity to, so I like my opponent not attacking there. Yikes, okay. Some awkward timing, but whatever. Alright, what am I doing this turn? So I'm dead in 3 turns to both True Name Nemesis attacking. If I get Sword of Fire and Ice, I cannot race that. If I get Batterskull or Jitte, they're forced to hold a True Name Nemesis back, and it increases the amount of time that I can stay alive. The other thing I need to worry about is if they hit land drop 5, they put a Batterskull on True Name, and I'm so donezo. So the next thing I need to ask is, am I going to draw cards with Militia Bugler or Stoneforge Mystic here, or am I just going to play out 2 cards? I think I'm fine with just playing out 2 cards. Alright, I'm going to get my own Batterskull. I'm not going to draw a card. I'm going to play Bugler. We're going to look for another Stoneforge or Giver of Runes with this. Clutch! Alright, we may have tipped the scales on this one into positive. Again, we're absolutely terrified of Jitte Equip. We'll lose the game on the spot to that. Alright, just don't hit Jitte, and I don't care about the rest. Another Narset. Yeah, that's fine. If that takes your whole turn again, A-okay with me. Alright, so given this deck list, I have to plan out my entire turns ahead of time. Alright, so 1 mana, Giver of Runes. 2 mana, put in Batterskull. 2 mana, cast second Stoneforge for Sword of Fire and Ice. Then next turn, even if my opponent holds back the Batterskull Germ to bounce, I can give Pro Black and get through. Okay, yep. We're going to activate a Stoneforge now as to play around Vendilion Click. Playing around Vendilion Click will open me up, however, to land plus Council's Judgment. Yeah, okay, they hit a Ponder off of that. Awesome. Alright, so 2 mana, activate, 2 mana, activate, have 1 mana left over. We have to give pro-black here so we don't lose to this just being bounced. Alright, so now I am dead to my opponent drawing a land and equipping the Batterskull. But failing that... Fuck. I worked so hard this game. So hard this game. And we just lose to True Name. Alright. That's so disappointing. I can't even Swords to Plowshares my own abomination due to Sanctum Prelate. Super disappointed about that loss. Alright, Revoker in, Needle in, Council's Judgment in, Prelate in, Cataclysm in, Swords of Plowshares definitely out. Palace Jailer super risky against True Name Nemesis. I have enough other card draw that I don't necessarily need that. And then I'll need to make 2 more cuts. I think it's just trimming some stuff. Tomek is kind of medium. It can fly over True Name Nemesis, though, which a lot of my threats can't. So I might want to leave it for that reason. Not 100% sure. I think I'm going to trim one of these, and maybe trim one of these. This would leave me at 25 hits for Militia Bugler, which is a touch lower than I'd like. But I like everything that I'm bringing in, and I don't mind having lots of pieces of equipment for this matchup. This hand's amazing. Absolutely keep. In case you're wondering why I cut the Swords to Plowshares, the bodies of things like Stoneforge Mystic and Snapcaster Mage aren't actually the problem. The problem is the equipment cards like Jitte. So you're trying to stop those cards. If you're using a Swords to Plowshares on like a Stoneforge Mystic, it's kind of a losing battle. Since I have a second Thalia, I do not mind jamming the first into Force of Will or a Swords to Plowshares on their turn. If I didn't draw the second one, I would have saved the Thalia for the following turn when I could have made it uncounterable. My opponent's now really incentivized to remove this Thalia on their turn before I can untap with this Caracas. Oh man, Path to Exile? Deal. Like, super, super stoked about that. Because now I get to vial in my Thalia, make my stuff uncounterable, and then make my decision from there about what I want to do with the rest of my turn. So will I use this ability? Yes. We'll put in Thalia, and then we can do an uncounterable Sanctum Prelate on 1. Not saying that this game is locked up yet. That's very much not the case, but we're so far ahead right now with this Bile on 2 and 2 different strong hate bears in play. I'm going to cast a Bugler this turn, intending on viling in a Stoneforge Mystic. I think I can also safely attack in with Sanctum Prelate. Because if my opponent flashes in Snapcaster Mage to block Sanctum Prelate, I can just blink it with Charming Prince. I don't really want to use the Charming Prince that way, though. I'd rather use it defensively on some actual removal spell that could take it out. I don't know what that would be. Something like a Council Judgment or something. Kind of an awkward example, but you get the point. You know what? Screw it. And no, we're not actually turning on their removal spell because of the Thalia attacks. Whatever spell I play here will be exposed to a removal, or not a removal spell, to a Force of Will. I'm actually debating whether or not it's just correct to just, like, Rishadan-port them. I'm pretty far ahead on board. I can press that further, though. And I kind of do want to do that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and play a Stoneforge Mystic, get my Sword of Fire and Ice, and then port down their planes. Correction, port down their island. I might still port down their planes, actually. No, I'll port down their island. I was thinking Council's Judgment, but they can't Council's Judgment this turn anyway. So might as well take out the one that's different. Yes, we will take this up. So now there's worlds where I might actually want to do something with my mana pre-combat. It involved drawing something like Palace Jailer, though. No, I'm going to go ahead and just do this now. We'll just make the attack with those two. Oh, another Stoneforge. Yes. Take Sword of Fire and Ice so a True Name Nemesis doesn't gum up our board. Is there any reason why I need to protect Thalia? I don't think so. We'll be porting them off of something like Supreme Verdict. So I believe it is safe to just go ahead and do this. They're playing Stoneblade, not Miracle, so we don't need to worry about Terminus. At this point, we can say always no to that. That's a great draw. Super happy with that. And my opponent has just conceded there. Yeah, that makes sense to me. They're not getting out of that. All right. Do I want to change anything now that I'm on the draw? I don't think so. Swords of Plowshares becomes more defensible on the draw. But again, the Swords Stoneforge Mystic itself is not the problem. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hand. We're going to really get to see what our deck can do here. Here's to hoping we don't just get, like, run over by Stoneforge into True Name and the Jitte equip. Because this hand does not beat that in a million years. I mean, I like to see bottom with Preordain. I do not like to see Batterskull. All right, super happy to see that resolve. Okay. So things are lining up well for us. All right, that is game winning. I will not beat that. That's super disappointing. As is that. So my Swords of Plowshares are in the sideboard, so I can't actually take that off of the battlefield without something like a Council Judgment. And I don't have mana to cast my spells. Note, this also shuts off Charming Prince, blinking my own creatures. So this gives me a potential out. Like, potentially, if I can ever get a Sword of Fire and Ice connection, I can take Containment Priest off the battlefield. And if that ever leaves the battlefield, oh good lord, the game is beyond over. So the hope here is actually that our opponent attacks in with the Containment Priest. And we get to ambush it with the Batterskull. That happens. Oh man. Oh man. I really don't like how all-in my plays are going to be this game. Oh, thank you. I mean, in before they have Disenchant, and this doesn't matter, but, you know. You missed 2 points of damage by letting me block. It's super relevant. Oh, we said always no to that. Oh, we did. So the Containment Priest isn't going to attack anymore. I need to set myself up to gain life. If I gain life, I win this game. Not 100%, but very, very, very likely. Alternatively, if I can take the Containment Priest off the table, I can probably give myself enough wiggle room to do something about the true name. So playing Thalia or Tomic, both of those are very bad decisions. That's unfortunate because they also blank the Containment Priest. So we can get Jitte, which is like yet another thing that is going and threatening life gain. So my opponent having that Force of Will means that their Containment Priest can attack again. Which is annoying for me. Note that if my opponent had not let my Batterskull block before, I would be dead to the True Name Nemesis next turn. Oh, great. Okay. That just seems wrong. If you had Jitte in hand, you just, like, absolutely won the game by Jitte equipped this turn. So what the heck was up with that? Oh, I need to always yield to it. That's the problem. Okay. So how do I win this game? I can just equip the Batterskull, gain 5 life, go up to 10. My opponent can crash in with True Name for 7. I will lose to a Swords to Plowshares. I could equip Sword of Fire and Ice to Stoneforge Mystic, kill Containment. Nope, they just block with the Stoneforge Mystic. I think the only ways that I win this game involve me gaining life this turn, and that needs to happen via Batterskull. It sucks that that's the case, but it is what it is. We'll attack the Narset. It doesn't matter which one. We go and attack here. Like, we lose to the removal spell either way. Alright, Snapcaster Path to Exile, and we lose. Alright, I think my opponent made a bunch of errors this game, but, like, they had a crippling hate card in their opening hand against my start that was all in on Ether Vials. So it is what it is. We had a lot of outs, and, you know, we didn't draw. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this sort of like interesting take on D&T. We ended up 3-2 with it. You know, not what I wanted to do, and I felt like we deserved better than that. But you know, you play the best you can. You let the results come naturally. I don't think Mentor of the Meek is particularly good. As you saw, if we have Militia Bugler in the deck as well, like we just didn't have the extra mana to use this as a sink. The Militia Buglers were fine. Like playing those in multiple with a pile of Charming Prince is pretty cute. I do wish that I just had a couple more like aggressive threats or particularly flyers that I could couple with these. Um, so like Militia Bugler lets you get things with power 2 or less, so like you can't be playing something like Flicker Wisp and get them, and you want all of your creatures to do that. But I wouldn't mind like minus a Mentor plus Atomic, minus a Mentor plus, I don't know, I'd have to think about it, but something like Remorseful Cleric that like has some relevant ability and is either like evasive or has some protection from some color or something like that. I also think even in this like Ren and 6 Wasteland world, if you're gonna run this many humans, you really have a real consideration for Cavernous Souls, right? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider supporting Daily D&T. Hopefully I'll be back next week. See you later.